Welcome back to the Market Mindset Podcast. Matt Lairden, thanks for joining us today. A little side note, a little fashion faux pas. You're never supposed to wear a tie that's brighter than you are. Sorry for the really bright tie. Anyway, all self-deprecating humor aside, today we have Robert Biehn. He's with Epique Realty in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He was out here in Southern California, married, got displaced from a high-level tech job, did a self-inventory, figured out what he wanted to do, which was real estate. Wanted to move to a state that was more aligned with his values, as well as better business opportunities in the real estate field. He chose Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Just a highly intelligent, high energy individual. Great person. When he is not in real estate, he's writing, he's an author, he does songs, he does video games, and he's an aspiring politician. Might be the next congressman coming out of Tennessee. We'll see where that happens. Hope you enjoy the podcast as much as I did. Well, today's one of those days it took us a while to get on the calendar because, Robert Biehn is super, super busy out there. So I want to say thanks for joining us. I mean, I look at your resume and I'm just like, oh my gosh, how is he going to fit us in? You're a real estate agent, team leader, you're a coach, you write songs, you're an author, you got a book you'll tell us about that's coming out, scripts, games, Christian, aspiring congressman. I don't know about that one, but that's awesome. And recently, we're going to talk about Epique. We're going to talk about your writing. We're going to talk about your real estate career. We're going to talk about how you've expanded your social media presence. I mean, 6.5 thousand followers. You got following a whole bunch. You're a dominant presence out there. I see you all the time on social media. So first, for everyone here, Robert Biehn, thank you for joining us today. Talk to me. Talk to me about real estate. You're originally out here from the left coast, west coast. Now you're there in Murfreesboro, as you told me beforehand. Tennessee, yep. Let's talk. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, first, I mean, thanks for making time for me, and thanks for making me sound so amazing. Wow, I feel so special. Yeah, I mean, real estate was definitely something I never. It takes a top 50 things that I thought I would do in life, and real estate would not make that list. Not even close. I mean. Real estate agents might have not as well existed in my brain when I was looking at the different paths and and I've had a lot of jobs. I've had a lot of different jobs with a really diverse background.
Okay. Love it. Love it. So what made you jump into real estate and how long have you been doing it?
Yeah. So I was in Southern California, living in Southern California, working a pretty big corporate job where I was the face of a mobile gaming company, head of PR. I also did some of their business development, contract negotiations, just a lot of that stuff. And then there were some things going on with that company that were not good. Brought it to the attention of HR. HR looked at me and said, "Oh, no, you're the problem." And a week before my wedding, fired me.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm. And they knew my wife had just gotten into a car accident as well. And I looked at God and I said, okay, but what the heck am I supposed to do with this skill set? I think I was like 26 or something at the time. I had a very unique skill set. There were not many people who did what I did. I negotiated contracts directly with Netflix on behalf of that company. So they were big things and I didn't know what to do. And so I just started looking at what can you do in life? Like, what are the I need to provide for my family. So it's got to be something I can make a lot of money on because I was living in Southern California. So you've got to make some good money to provide. We wanted to start a family. And so then going through a list of things, and honestly, I can't quite remember how, but someone said you should, you know what it was? I just remembered. A buddy of mine introduced me to a life coach and he said, "Have you thought about real estate?" And I said, "No."
All right.
I looked at being an electrician. I looked at every job you can imagine from corporate to trade school. Like I didn't care. I just needed to provide for my family. And I looked at real estate and I was like, contracts. Okay.
Right.
Largest purchase in someone's life. Okay. Low barrier of entry, which means I can get in there and make a high impact very fast with my skill set. Right. I'm not, I mean it respectfully, but I'm not competing with the best of the best.
Okay.
I mean, it's just true. It sounds arrogant. It is not meant to be.
Not at all.
I'm not saying I'm the best of the best either. I'm just saying it was accessible to me, right? You
Right.
can't just go tomorrow and decide to be a lawyer, and in 30 days you'll be ready to do that.
Right.
You have a lot of work and a lot of time and high standards to go and achieve that. So that's kind of what I mean. So uh I started looking at brokerages and talking to people from brokerages, talking to people in real estate to try and figure it out. It was terrifying, and then we decided to move to Tennessee. My wife and I. She's pregnant. We had debt, and I jumped into real estate full time.
Wow. I mean, but you looked at a lot of different career paths. I like the fact that, hey, low barrier to entry. I mean, you got to pass the exam.
Low
And then,
overhead too. That's the other thing. I
right,
looked at other, entrepreneurial spirit. Right. Well, I could do this. I could do this. Well, that takes $500,000 to start that. It takes even 50,000 to start that. I don't have that. I have debt right now. Well,
right.
real estate, couple grand. Don't, anybody who says real estate's free, it's not free, but it is probably the least expensive, legitimate. Um, how do we put it? Commodity, legitimate commodity that you
Okay.
can start a business in.
Yeah,
Um, and so I said, well, it makes a lot of sense. And again, my skill set, contracts, finances, business development.
right.
Yeah, I could do that. I can make a direct impact in someone's life and not have to go through another company, not have to have it filtered or watered down or approved. I can go and change people's lives.
100%. And that's the free the real estate is one of the last bastions of unlimited wealth. And I'm fortunate to speak to just the full spectrum of real estate professionals in all aspects. And that barrier to entry, and usually it's not the first thing they chose, but something happened, a life event occurred, and they say, okay, I want to pursue this, or I want the freedom. I don't care if it's a divorce, death in the family, relocation, financial crisis. And they look, and I mean, it is such an real estate, such an incredible opportunity. So you
Mm-hmm.
went, you got licensed, you relocated. Did you have family there in Tennessee?
Nope, brand new city, brand new state, no friends, no family. Um, like no sphere of influence, starting
Right.
from scratch, no money.
Okay. You sound very analytical. What was your, what, I mean, coming from the
Yeah.
background that you did, contracts and negotiations. I mean, did you get a mentor? What, I mean, how did you get tell us about your first deal.
Yeah. So, uh, kind of two part. Why we chose Tennessee. Uh, my wife ended up getting pregnant, and we said, where do we want to raise our kids, and where do we want them to be? And living in Southern California, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's necessarily easy for everyone in Nashville or everyone. I'm not saying that, but when a house in Huntington Beach costs almost $1 million at that time, and that was 5, 6 years ago,
Yeah.
well, I was like, okay, what's the feasibility? I had a good corporate job. Even if I kept that job, I couldn't afford a basic house.
No. Oh,
And so I
yeah.
started looking at states that aligned with my spiritual beliefs, not political. I don't vote politically. I vote spiritually.
Okay.
Who aligns with what I believe as a Christian?
Okay.
Um, and I saw that the governor of Tennessee, he aligned with a couple things. Not perfect. I've never met a politician who I agree with in everything about anyway.
Right.
Um, I started to also look at different churches because I knew that if I moved towards where I believed I would be in an environment that supported my faith, that I would be better off. My marriage would be better off because I'd have the right people around supporting. My business would be better off. I would be better off because there would be people who believe beyond just money, people
Right.
who believe beyond just superficial. So Tennessee ended up really moving to the top of the list, not to mention the business side of it. Tennessee had an unbelievable amount of headquarters that were moving from California to Tennessee. So
Yep.
naturally, I'm looking at that. Then you start to look at the real estate industry, and I started to see what was happening in Tennessee before it really started booming. And I was like, wow, okay, if I get there at the right time, right place, I can do something special.
Right.
And I can get in there. And so that's why we chose Tennessee. And then as far as my first deal, first closed deal or first written contract?
Well, I mean, let's just walk through them both. I mean, First written contract. Did that lead to a deal?
No, no,
Okay,
they
talk
did
about
not
that.
buy.
That's
Yeah.
your first one. You're waiting for that. You got that commission breath, maybe, as they say. You get everything lined up. You got
I
the,
was desperate.
yeah,
I was afraid. I was very afraid. I worked, but it was good fear. Just for everybody listening, it's good fear. It was the fear that says that if I don't provide, we don't eat.
yeah,
But if I can provide, we do. And so it was good fear. It made me work harder than most people that I knew in real estate.
yeah,
And I'm fortunate that also worked out.
right.
Um, yeah, so the first deal was um, a wonderful, nice older couple who was looking to downsize, but they didn't actually want to downsize. They loved their home. And so it was a contract that was destined to fail that I never knew from the beginning would. And I can't tell you how many. I mean, the contract, just writing it with them the first time took 4 hours.
Oh, geez.
Um,
Were you on buy
and
side or listing side?
I was on the listing side.
Okay, okay,
And I had picked up some listings with the builder. Um, and so, but the actual first closed listing, and I don't actually know if he knows this, um, was a guy I met in the music industry. I don't want to say his name because I don't have his permission, but
right.
he's a pretty big name actually.
Okay,
And if I said his name, people would know him.
right.
And I actually met him like 7 or 8 years ago because he was a judge when I performed in Nashville, for a record label.
Okay,
And I had reconnected with him at church.
there we go.
And I'm not shy, man.
Right.
I was talking, chatting with him, blah, 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 and say, by the way. And then he goes, well, uh, just so happens we're in the market to buy a home. I'm like, oh, there we go. There we literally, hallelujah. I'm in church.
Right,
Thank
right,
you, Jesus.
right.
But here's the cool part. He's a smart guy. So he went to, you think he doesn't know a 30-year veteran real estate agent who handles all of the stars?
Right.
Of course he does. Why
Yeah,
on earth would he ever risk with me? So
right.
I told him, I said, listen, I know that you've got those people. I want you to test me and then take it to those people and see if I deliver. And if I deliver, then I want the deal. And he
Right.
did. He went and called these agents. He went and called the people he knew and he said, here's what this guy is saying. Here's what he's thinking. Here's what he's doing. How does that check out? And every single one of them said, this guy knows his stuff. Now, mind you, I hadn't closed anything, but
Right.
I had worked that hard to actually be exceptionally good at what I do.
Yeah.
Even if I had not proven it fully, I had done everything in my power to make sure that I would be able to deliver when I was given that opportunity.
Yeah.
And guess what? I helped him negotiate the deal. He got a great deal. The house that he bought actually really saved the family. Then I
Okay.
helped that family actually go and buy another home. And then I think by the end of my first year, it was around 34 homes sold.
Wow. Wow. And you had your back to your wall. You didn't have any spheres of influence, centers of influence.
Nope, nope. It
You've been
was
in town.
yeah.
You had a contract background, but in a sector that's absolutely not related to real estate.
No, no.
And
I
you
thought it
and
would be, but it definitely wasn't.
right, right, right. But success happens when opportunity meets preparation, and you were ready and you were prepared. So you started there, and then I mean that was your first transaction. I had a Lori on. She's a top agent in Utah. Same thing. She just was in the transaction side, escrow side, and she goes, "I want to be, in this business." And her first listing came out of nowhere, and it was like $12 million. Should okay,
Oh,
I'm on to
wow.
something. Yeah,
That is
I mean,
something.
I think it was Newport Coast out here in Southern California, and so we never know when those opportunities are going to be available. But you were ready, and you said, "Hey, test me," and look what happened. So then you
Reminds me
went,
of Ryan Sherhan. If anybody knows
oh
his story is so awesome. Like,
yeah,
he just worked so hard. He was not luxury, guys, when he started. He
yeah,
was broke and he did not know any better other than that he would work really, really hard to be the person that his clients needed him to be. And he continues to be that person. So shout out to Ryan because I love his story.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, there's setback. I mean, of all the people, the majority of the people that we get to come on the podcast when we talk real estate, and whether they're a real estate wholesaler, real estate broker owner, team leader, just agent, luxury, commercial, residential, a majority, I'd say 85%, had some type of setback during their career. They got too successful too quick. They didn't get grounded. They
Oh
had,
yeah,
the 2008, 2009 downturn that wiped
plenty
them
of
out,
those.
over leverage, you name it, it happened. So we're going to
Yeah,
fast forward a little bit here because, um, you're a writer. I mean, you're an aspiring congressperson. I'm going to talk you out of that. You're doing all these things, but now you're also a real estate coach, and you've joined Epique,
hmm
and I've had some with a couple of Josh's assistants, executive team back there. I follow Debbie Morrow. I mean, Walter Key. I mean,
yeah,
those
great
guys are
people.
just amazing
They
people.
really are.
And to see what Josh and his team are doing with Epique,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's phenomenal. So
yeah.
talk to me about Epique. Talk to me about why you joined. I mean, they've got. I mean, and I don't want to downplay this thing, but freaking dog insurance or animal. I mean, pet insurance is coming out. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I just saw the green list of all the benefits they're offering, and everything's up front and disclosed. I mean, you
hmm
don't have to take pictures of your property. They're going to put the signs out for you. I
hmm
mean, talk to me about Epique and why you're with Epique and what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, Epic, like real estate, was somewhere I never thought I would be because prior to Epic, I was at EXP, amazing company.
Yep.
I have nothing but respect and honor for Glenn Sanford and all of his leaders that um, just did a wonderful thing for our industry um, and really changed. There would be no Epic without EXP,
I
hands
agree.
down. And
Yeah.
so, I really want to pay tribute. And I want to say, I had great people just to because I really believe in being humble and credit where credit's due. I did have great people in my life that were willing to share some information and help me solve problems as I went through my first year in real estate.
Okay.
Um, and those people know who they are. And again, I don't like to shout out names because some people get uncomfortable with that,
Yeah.
but those people know who they are. And I just want everybody listening to know, like, um, having the blessing of people who will show you the way or help you solve problems is don't take it for granted.
Yeah. You had
Um,
some good mentors, some people that stepped in.
yeah, I just had some top producing agents who were willing to every now and then answer questions. What do
Yeah.
I do here, right? And then I on the new construction side, and I had the honor of meeting some great leaders there too, and I ended up doing way more new construction. But anyway, I just want to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah. I
So
appreciate that.
Epic, yeah, I never planned on being at Epic. I recruited a lot of agents to EXP, had a good thing going. My wife has some medical problems that have been going on for about 2 years. And so a lot of income actually came from revenue share. So the
Okay.
idea of erasing all that hard work and that stability and security, I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
I don't chase hype, and I mean that respectfully, meaning, when Real first got started, not saying Real is all hype. I'm saying when Real first got started, I didn't say, oh, I'm leaving EXP, I'm going to go jump Real just so I can recruit agents. I don't
Right.
chase that hype. Um, and so, again, Real's a great company too. So, again, people listening, please understand. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
saying. And you know
No.
how it is. People are like, "Oh, he says he hates Real." No, no, no.
No.
Real's a
No.
great
No. You're
company.
not that
There's
kind
some
of guy.
amazing people over there, and I'm glad they exist.
Yeah. No. And I know that about you. Just our
Okay,
interaction prior to recording here today. Yeah. And the
okay,
certain pieces of the puzzles fit better for some people than they do, you know,
absolutely.
to others.
Yeah. So really, what happened with Epic was that my partner Chris Rains, he was like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna go to Epic," and I called him, and then I said, "I'm coming to your house right now." And in my head, I'm thinking, you're an idiot. You're chasing shiny objects. Don't ruin this for me.
Right.
Don't ruin a good thing that I have going right now. Um, and I get to his house, talk to him for hours. He keeps trying to tell me, and I'm trying to talk him out. And then he says the magic words of just take a deep dive look at it because he knows I will. I'm an honest man. If you
Yeah.
ask me, I will do it. And in
Yeah.
fact, I like cracked my knuckles. I was like, "Oh yeah, you betcha."
Yeah.
You don't you're gonna regret ever asking me to do a deep dive on Epic because I'm gonna crush that company. I'm gonna
Right.
crush them. I'm very good at this stuff. So I did my due diligence and I was like, I was so pissed when I found out that it was true, that it was good stuff. I was so upset. You can ask my wife. I was like, are you kidding me? They're a legit company? Are you
Wow.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Because now I can't justify not doing better for my family and my agents. If they
Right.
were a crappy company, if they were a false company, if they were smoke and mirrors, I get to keep my comfort. I get to keep my security. I don't have to be better. I can
Yeah.
just stay where I'm at. But the moment I saw, wow, from day one, agents absolutely are black and white better off at Epique.
Yeah.
How could I keep that from them? How could I keep that from my family?
Yeah.
That didn't, I can't, my conscience won't let me not do that. And so I made the choice to come over to Epique, even though technically I make less per agent in revenue share, not by much, but less per agent in revenue share than I did at EXP.
Yeah. So, sometimes there's I call them intrinsic and tangible, rewards, and there's external, extrinsic rewards. And it's obviously there's some intrinsic value on top of all the other layers of value that Epique brings. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not with Epique. I'll tell you guys right now, not with EXP. I'm independent, but I'm telling you, I mean, I hear and I see, I get a lot of feedback from agents, and EXP is a great organization and
Great.
real. They all have a place in the real estate business, and there's certain agents that like different, I mean, different flavors of real estate and different organizations.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I see what Josh and his team are doing, and it's phenomenal out there. And then we see the social media presence that you guys have. I mean, Walter and his Walt Key, and I give a shout out to Walt. His 100-day 100K challenge, where he's giving this business plan away for all
Yes.
these agents who
A
aren't with
phenomenal one.
Epique.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
and Debbie with her social media following,
Yeah.
unbelievable out there what they're doing.
Yeah,
So they're
Walt, Debbie, they're amazing givers.
yeah,
They're just amazing. Chris Raines also is always out there, sharing his strategies on how he grows groups. I think he's got like across all of his groups in the different states, he's got like 1 million people in them.
wow, I
And
love it.
he often shares that, and he also just one thing I like him like Walt is that he just shares what he does.
Yeah,
Like, here's a text I sent today that produced results. You guys go send this text,
yeah, I love
which is
it.
so cool, which is so
Yeah,
awesome.
right. I mean, I call it sort of nature's law of circulation. You put something out there, you help someone else, they're gonna almost feel obligated to help you back. And you
Yeah,
got some guidance, and now you're doing the same thing. The law of
yeah,
circulation. I put my hand out to shake yours. You're probably going to put your hand back out
yep,
and shake mine. So I,
instinctively
I
even.
love that. Um,
Yeah.
are you still active? Are you more in the managing agents right now, or are you still
Yeah,
actively
so the
involved?
vast majority of what I do in real estate now is that I help agents in the downline. I help them facilitate the challenges that we believe pour into other agents. For instance, shout out to Art Kelly and his 21-day friend maker challenge. It's an
Okay,
amazing challenge. He's an amazing man. And so helping and encouraging by trying to get agents to join that. Um, and then Walt with his 100K in 100 days challenge and facilitating and trying to encourage and grow that. We just believe in putting out good ethics, good systems and processes out there for people to participate in. So I spend a lot of time helping to kind of do some of the back end work. I'm the man behind the curtains, if you will.
right.
We are also always active with our downline in general. Then I am we have a team. Chris and I have a team in Tennessee as well. So we're a small team, but we're active with those agents. Um, and I do some sales. I still do some sales,
Yeah.
maybe 5 or 6 in a year.
Okay.
Nothing big, but those are usually sales that come around either either generally it's almost always a God thing where they will reach out to me. Now, to be clear, I have extensive follow up and consistent follow up
Okay.
every month, but they will reach out to me. Usually, it's generally not me reaching out to them, and there will be a need in their life to where it's sure they need real estate help, but they actually need a deeper. Maybe they're
Okay.
going through divorce, and I know them, and they
Okay.
need someone who cares about their situation beyond just sweet another commission check.
Right.
So usually that's what happens with the deals that I take.
Yeah, yeah. And then we're gonna go back, but the thing about you is what I love is, you just you didn't run right in. You just didn't come and start recruiting. You were out there in the trenches already. You know what new
Mm-hmm.
agents are going through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, having gone through the EXP system and then transitioning over to Epique, so you've been in the trenches. You have had those real conversations with listing, getting listings and doing buy side representation. And so
Mm-hmm.
you bring that to the table, which I would think really helps and inspires confidence in the
I
new
also
agent.
don't take talk. I am also not someone who rests on their laurels.
Okay.
Um, I don't talk about things that I'm not a top producer in anymore. So
Okay.
you will not hear me teaching you um, constantly how to fill out a listing contract or the best way to present an offer. Why? Because I'm not out there presenting offers all the time. That's why
Okay.
I have Walt, and that's why I have Chris. I have top producers, top leaders who are out there every day, and they will give you that direct information what they're doing. A lot of what I focus on is things that, again, I do every day and that I'm very good at. And that would be things like more recently looking at someone's business, again, business development, finding the gaps in their business. Like they don't know how to follow up. I'm extremely good at follow up. I'm very, very good. It's and it's very fun and unique in the way that I do follow up. So I'll be looking at their follow up business. I'll be looking at, um, I'll help them with lead gen sources because I generate leads all day long. But I am not always the person who's going to give them a script. Why? Because I'm not making cold calls anymore. I'm
Right.
not making any of those. So I don't want to risk thinking that because 5 years ago or 6 years ago something worked for me that it must be relevant today. I want to have real time proof and real time facts. So I always like to share that with people too. Like I only teach the things that I'm true expert on and I still live and practice. Because it would be kind of like the way I kind of look at it is if a pastor gets up on stage and he's like, hey guys, I'm going to teach you from the Bible, but he doesn't read the Bible anymore. He doesn't pray anymore. It
Right.
doesn't mean that he's inherently wrong. Oh, I read the Bible 5 years ago, but there is a disconnect. Your memory forgets things, finesse, the understanding, revelation. There's things that you just miss because you're not constantly keeping it sharp. The blade
Right.
gets dull.
Right. And you're humble enough to and professional enough to say, this is not my area of expertise, it sounds like, but I know someone who does.
Yep.
And that with that, obviously the big concern this last year was DOJ coming at NAR and the buy side representation fee and disclosure and MLS. How who on your team has been helping discuss that with other agents? Has it been an issue? Is it a
Yeah.
non-factor? Talk to me.
Anybody who works with me, and when I say works with me, I just mean like who is willing to talk to me and listen to me if they need the help.
Right.
Um, they are not afraid of the changes. And I don't say it in a boastful way. From day one, I knew I needed a value proposition before anyone told me to have one. I
Okay.
understood why, because I did business negotiations before. And you don't walk into a boardroom with Netflix and go, so yeah, I'm really empathetic and I love people, and that's why you should work with me.
Right.
Right. But that if you talk to the average agent and you ask them, why did you get into real estate or what makes you good at real estate? For instance, ask them, who do you like working with? A bunch of agents are going to tell you first time home buyers. You know what I'm going to say? Why? And they go, well, I just love teaching. Do you not love teaching your other clients? Do other agents not love teaching their clients?
Right.
Well, I'm patient and I'm kind. Are you not patient and kind with your other clients? What do you actually do for first time homebuyers that is specialized, that is unique? Could you imagine you go to a brain surgeon and you go, are you confident in this surgery? And he goes, yes. Okay. Why are you confident in brain surgery? And he goes, well, I love blood
Right.
and I
No.
love knives and I love, I just love anatomy.
Right.
Okay. Like that's cool. But what about the brain part of the surgery? The critical part.
What
How
a
are you
great,
going to help
yeah,
me? Right?
that's a great
So
metaphor.
that's the way that I look at it when I've always been that way. Is remember, I had no sphere of influence. So I didn't have someone going, oh, dude, I'm going to use you. We're best friends. I didn't
Yeah.
have that. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have a reputation. So I couldn't just say, I'm so and so and I've succeeded so and so in life. Nope. Didn't have that. I didn't have money. So I couldn't buy my way into it, meaning, spending $50,000 to build a brand or buy leads or hire an ISA team. I didn't have any of that stuff. So what I did have is I could craft an offer that was relevant to people that other people weren't offering them. Doesn't mean it was even phenomenally great, because I didn't even really know what great was at that
Right.
time, but it was different and it was unique. And so going back to your question, Department of Justice, buyer's commissions, all of this stuff, like that was already part of what I did. I already knew that I was worth the money, but not because of some figurative, theoretical thing hovering on the internet or in a class that you took one day that says, know your worth. Man,
Right.
most people know your worth. Their worth comes from someone telling them, know your worth.
Yeah.
My worth comes from the fact that if you asked me when when I'm in a listing and they go, okay, why are you worth it? Well, here's my tangible value. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take all these fluff. Oh, here's the #1 award. Okay, but how does that translate to value for someone?
Right.
Great. I'm glad you made lots of money or are super successful, but how are you going to help me? That's like why people get mad at Elon Musk, and they're like, well, he's a billionaire. What they're really saying is, I get he's rich and successful, but in no way do I feel it's relevant to me or helpful to me. But then when you hear teams go, well, we're the #1 team, that's why you should work for us. Okay, but why is that relevant to me? How is that helpful to me?
Yeah.
So hopefully, I know that was a little long-winded, but
No, no, I get it. I get it. But you know
I
your
know my
value.
value, and any agents working
Exactly.
with
Know
me, as
your
long as
value.
they follow it, I have an actual value proposition that's worth money.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. You know, the USP, unique selling proposition. And then if you don't know your value, how and you can't quantify the analogy with the brain surgeon is great. I love that. You know, because I like blood and tool. No, no, no. I want something a little more core
Specific.
oriented, something a little more, solidified. And that's what a lot of agents, I mean, and like you said, you got there, no spheres of influence, didn't have any family, you didn't go to the local schools or colleges. You're a new guy to town and you went out there, you inspired confidence, and obviously you're very analytical in how you approach business.
Hmm.
And it's like I tell people I really believe real estate's one of the last bastions where, I mean, with a GED, okay, you can go out and if you work hard, you can do very, very, very well for yourself.
Absolutely.
I follow Mike Ferry a little bit, and he said you can earn your business, you can wait for your business, you can buy your business. Buy your business is discounting your commissions down to nothing. Wait for your business. Well, you can go and sit on someone else's open houses. All right, you're waiting. And then the other one is go out and earn it. That's knocking on, I mean, however you earn it nowadays.
Right, right. Being
I mean,
proactive.
yeah, be proactive where you can control your income. And you've obviously
Hmm.
done that. We're up against it here. We got about a minute, 30 seconds left. How do people get a hold of you? Because obviously you're very inspiring. You're attracting people. How do people get a hold of you if they want to find out a little bit more about Epique and what you're doing there in Murfreesboro?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Um, and my YouTube channel is, I'm gonna pull it up to make sure that I don't miss speak, because that would be terrible.
Right.
So okay, so my YouTube channel is at Robert Biehn Official. So,
Okay.
and the way you spell my last name is Biehn. So
Okay.
Robert Biehn Official. And if you go to that, you're going to see a bunch of videos all about Epique. But I also have an awesome series on there that I do for a podcast that's called
Okay.
100K in 100 Days.
Okay.
And I
Love that.
bring on top producers and leaders. And I say, if you had 100 days,
Yeah.
make 100K as a real estate agent, what would you do day one go?
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
love that.
so I try to keep a
We got
variety.
about 15 seconds there. On Facebook, they can follow you at Robert Biehn, Robert space Biehn.
Is that right?
I think that's it. I got you here. Robert, I want to appreciate, we're going to have you back on in a couple
They can
months.
come to my personal, actually,
Okay.
facebook.com/Mr. Sunlight.
Okay. I want you to send that to me via Facebook Messenger and I'll
You
put it
got
in
it.
the donut. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank
It
you.
went by way too fast.